Another thing I'll say is that in terms of politics, I'm also very interested in that field, as well as law, but I really see, this year, 2024, is almost like a repeat of 1968. I really do. I mean, I was saying that even before the pundits on these news programs were starting to say that. This is going to be like 1968. And it's also in Chicago, magically, almost. You know what I mean? That was when Hubert Humphrey won the nomination in 1968. LBJ chose not to rerun. He was eligible to run again because he, finished the last couple of years of Kennedy's term and then went on to win one of his own. He could have went for another one if he wanted to. But obviously, RFK was killed and they chose to go with Humphrey. But obviously, Nixon won out. The popular vote in that election was pretty close, but the electoral vote Nixon got a little bit over 300. It was a bit more spread out. And also the Dixiecrats, George Wallace in the South took away from Humphrey. If he wasn't running, Humphrey would have gotten a lot of the southern states. A lot of the southern states and the Dixiecrats, the former segregationists that supported people like Strom Thurmond and stuff, those guys were still voting Democrat primarily down in the South. And for me, I'm a kind of guy who believes strictly in meritocracy in deciding hiring practices and who to prop up. And I think that a lot of times in Democrat and Republican circles, one's ability and one's intelligence are often overlooked. And that's the point. If you want to have a true meritocracy where one's ability, will dictate where they go, how far they go, and their earning power. You look on the left, they got what's called affirmative action. Affirmative action would be abolished under a purely, meritocracy-based system, based upon can you do it? Are you the smartest, best candidate? That's the point. I think under a true, fair society based on merits, ability, and what you've done. Because affirmative action will hire people just because they're black, just because they're gay, just because they're a woman. And the point is that there might be a candidate who's gay who's smarter than a woman. There might be a woman who's smarter than a black man. There might be a black man who's smarter than a white woman. They should go with who is the smartest person, who can do the best job, be the most efficient, and make the most money for the company. And generally, when the people are smart, I don't care what race you are, what orientation you are, you're not as replaceable as people who aren't as smart or aren't as capable as you. So if you're someone who's gay or black and you work at a company and people don't like you, but you're the smartest person there who fixes everyone's problems, people really won't care if your jokes are crappy or you're kind of a hard pill to swallow at times, because frankly, why would they? They're more replaceable than you. Are they going to replace Oppenheimer at Los Alamos? They're going to replace a clerk. They're going to replace the clerk 100 times before they get rid of Oppenheimer.